Right guys, so we're just going to run through how to set up a daisy chain and why you'd want to do that. In terms of, if we're in a situation where all we have access to is bigger, really thick bands, which is the case for some of you out there, we know that might be too much band tension. We may have, in some cases, shorter bands, or bands that, if we were to use multiple, 2 of these particular bands, that would again be too much, given, some people aren't going to need that much band tension, and the amount of band tension we're going to need is going to change depending on the load on the bar. The more load on the bar, the more band tension we want. The less load, the less band tension. What we've done here is we've got a daisy chain, which is essentially a climbing tool, and I believe it was coined by Tom Purvis through RTS. So those that have done RTS will be familiar with this. But what we've got is the ability to choose when this band is essentially when the band tension is kicking in the movement. So if at the moment we know at the top of this movement, multi-jointed pressing movement, Ryan's pretty strong, so there isn't a lot of band tension. In fact, there isn't any band tension on there. So in terms of if Ryan had load on here, we know that the amount of load he's dealing with is going to be greatest at the top, where he's technically in a stronger position. As he then goes through the movement, goes through the eccentric, he's getting into a mechanically weaker position. And this band tension is then kicking in, and we're able to choose exactly when that happens to make sure it's smooth. Like some people can set daisy chains up so it's coming on right at the bottom only, which is going to make the movement quite inconsistent, whereas the way we set this up here is, it's kicking in relatively soon on that eccentric, which means it's going to work to offload that weight as he's getting into that bottom position to a significant enough degree to actually match his force output capacity in this movement. Again, if we're getting to a position where Ryan's going to use a lot of weight, we may need to increase the tension in the band. We could even simply, increase the height, so it's kicking in a little bit sooner. So as he gets into that bottom position, there's actually a little more tension in the band itself. So essentially, what this guy does is just permits us a lot of opportunities to, alter how much band tension we're dealing with, when the band's kicking in, everything like that. So it's a pretty useful tool to have, especially for those that are more limited with their band selection and they've got to be more strategic about that sort of thing.